Namaskar. Welcome to this session on Bhagavad Gita in daily life. Today we shall be looking at what Bhagavad Gita tells us to avoid being angry. So anger is well known to all of us because in some or the other proportion we all face this problem at some point of the other. Somebody has less of anger, somebody has more of anger, but in some proportion we always have this problem. It is said that anger doesn't solve anything, it just builds nothing, does not help us in any way, but it can destroy everything. It's a big kind of a disadvantage. It creates a lot of disadvantage. It doesn't help us much, but creates a lot of problems for us. So in the second adhyaya, Bhagavan Shri Krishna talks about the attributes of the wise Sita Prajna, and in this he says that a wise person avoids being angry. He does not get angry. He says that this person, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, is free from attachments, fear, and he is free from anger. He does not have Raga Duesha, for in Sukha Dukkha he is all equipoised, balanced. That's why he does not have much Duesha, does not have much anger. That person is called a Sthita Muni. Sthitadi Muni, Uchyate, Sthita Prajna person, that wise Muni is a Sthita Prajna. Again in the second adhyaya, Bhagavan talks about the 8 steps to ruin. Shri Krishna tells us a very nice ladder through which we can fall down. What is that? And it starts. And what are the cause of the anger? That is also clearly described here. The desires is the starting point. That person thinks about the objects, that this will give me happiness, but it's an illusion, this happiness, and through which he gets attracted, gets attached to that object, and then finally that desire becomes more intense. And then finally, if that intense desire is not fulfilled, my own intense desire, then only I get angry. Kama krodho vijayate. So kama, when it is unfulfilled, leads to krodha. So that is a direct relationship between kama and krodha. So that is what we need to understand. This shloka, it is reversible with awareness. So if we try to work on our anger, whenever it tries to come up, spring us in ourselves, if we are aware, if we know it and try to control it, then the next step of destruction is avoided. And the next shloka, Shri Krishna talks about this, another 4 steps, the deadly effects of anger. When anger is uncontrolled, what happens? Krodhat bhavati sammoha. It leads to delusion. It leads to our moha, but very strong moha. And this sammohat smriti vibramaha. It leads to loss of our memory, or whatever we are understood, good things, what we should do, what we should not do. All this smriti is destroyed. With this, our buddhinashaha, our intellect is destroyed. And intellect is the most important jewel of a human being. And when intellect, buddhi is not working, then that person, buddhinashat pranashyati, we cease to be human. We do or carry out some inhuman acts of violence, rape, things like that. And this is all because of, these are the steps that Bhagavan Krishna talks about. And this is an irreversible step. It actually destroys the humanity of the person himself. And that's why these are the deadly effects of anger that we should all understand and realize. In the third adhyaya, where Bhagavan gives a message of karma yoga, and finally Arjuna asks that what are those 2 things through which I'm not able to do what I want to do, that dharma, what I want to do, but I'm still not able to do. Here, Shri Krishna says that these desires and this anger are the root cause of, which arise from Rajaguna, they are like Mahashana. They eat like a glutton. They are never-ending desires, and they are the cause for great sins, they are Mahapapma. These are our real enemies. That is what Shri Krishna tells us, that this kama and krodha, here we are talking of anger. In kama, we already have a other session for kama, or for the controlling the desires. But what is this anger? That it's something that engulfs or hides our happiness. We cannot be happy and angry at the same time. So whenever we are angry, we are never happy. It hides our happiness. And it gives pain, not just to ourselves, but also to the other person on whom we are angry. So it destroys or disturbs not only us, but also the other person. It is like a double fire. It burns us and it burns the other person. And when does it happen? when the desires don't get fulfilled, it leads to anger. And when it is expressed, it burns the other person. When it is suppressed inside us, then sometimes it comes out even more deadly form as violence. And it forces us to do something that we never want to do, makes us blind to what we need to do, what we want to do, what is the right thing for us to do. And this is what is called as the moha, sammoha. Raga and Duesha, our attractions, our repulsions, or our strong likes, our strong dislikes, is a very central theme of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan talks about these Raga, Duesha in several adhyayas. It's the most mysterious ways they work. We don't realize also how they work and how we operate based on our sanskaras of Raga and Duesha. We have strong likes for particular persons, particular objects, and we have strong dislikes for particular people and particular situations. So this gives us our own reaction, our own, the way we operate, and it inspires us to do most of the sins that we do, the strong likes, dislikes. Raga is attachment, and it arises from the desires, which makes me feel incomplete. So all these desires causes raga, and dislikes, which is expressed as anger, Duesha, it comes out as krodha. And that's why we need to understand how this works. Both these are our greatest enemies. When Shri Krishna says this, Mahashanaha means they consume a lot. This anger and these desires, they eat a lot, means they are never satisfied. They come again and again, just like putting in a ghee in the agni. The more we satisfy this, the more they arise in our mind, desires as well as anger, and they ask for more and more. Mahapapma means they are the cause for great sins. It destroys all our understanding, reasoning, intellect, and that's why we should not suppress this anger. We should try to understand, manage them with understanding, try to understand why is it coming, what is the cause of this, how can I control it. So with this kind of an understanding, we can control the anger. Now, Shri Krishna also tells us in the 5th adhyaya that one who controls this desire and anger is a truly happy person, Sasukhi Naraha, a truly happy person who is able to control in this own life before the life comes to an end, is able to control this force of desires and anger. Kama krodhod bhavam vegam, that vega, that force with which this anger comes. We are able to understand, to know that, oh, I'm becoming angry. And most of the times we know that I'm getting angry. We tell the other person, don't make me angry, I'm getting angry now. So that's why we know that we are getting angry. And that's the time that we need to control. And one who is able to control this is a true yogi. That's what Shri Krishna says in Gita ji. So how can we sublimate desires and anger? Both have to be conquered with understanding. They cannot be just suppressed. It is not possible to suppress, but with understanding, we have to get above it, or we have to transcend these desires and this anger. So this is only possible by our adequate control of our mind, senses, by our intellect, and all this is very important. That's what Bhagavad Gita teaches us, how we can develop a kind of a self-restraint by right understanding, by the right attitude. And this is definitely difficult to control this force. We have all experienced this, how difficult it is to control these desires and krodha, because they are the ones that invite many other vices like moha. Moha is our attachments, lobha is our greed, mada is our pride, our ego, matsarya is jealousy, we are not happy with somebody else progressing, and all these other vices are also, they start with the kama and krodha. So awareness at each point is very important, because these work very subtly in our mind. We don't even know how we operate, and that's why we have to be very aware, and we must make the peace of mind as our most valuable asset. That should be the ultimate priority for us. Only if this is there, then we will make a resolution to come out of these vices. Otherwise, we will just keep on operating the way we are operating, or behaving in the way that we are behaving. Because if there is no peace of mind, there is no progress in life, and it's a peace of mind which is very, very important. It is, and to manage the anger, there can be some temporary and some long-term solutions. So our Guruji, Puja Guruma, teaches us some of the temporary solutions, how we can handle anger. And as we divert the attention of our child, when the child does a lot of jid or insistence, similarly, we have to divert our mind like a child. When it becomes angry, we have to divert the mind. And this is how we have to control anger, because the mind is in one kind of a way of thinking. We have to just try to shift the mind towards another way of thinking. This is the best way is to prevent the mind from getting into situations which ignite the anger, which precipitate the anger. We should try to stay away from such situations. Whenever we are trying to get angry, we should try to change that situation, that scenario, try to go to the washroom, wash our face, take a shower, something, and try to see if we can calm down by thinking of something else rather than, you can leave the place, go out to the nature, go and see the trees, take some deep breath and try to calm ourselves down, try to make sure that our thoughts are changed. And sometimes seeing our face in the mirror we will see how vikrut or how distorted our face becomes when we become angry. We will not like to get angry again, and maybe prayers to the God to help us during these situations. If we can remember Lord at that time, if we can do smarana, then this will change the path of our flow of thoughts and will help us to get calm. We should try and accept anger as a vice. Many of us try to justify anger, saying that, it's necessary for me to become angry. Only that people are working. I'm a leader in my area. People don't work. They don't listen to me unless I become angry. Now, this is not the right justification. We can get all the things done out of love rather than being angry. So this is the technique, or these are the attitudes that we should learn. We should remain firm, and with the right communication, we can get our work done without becoming angry. So it's a firm resolution to come out of it that we will not become angry. Only then we can control this anger. And take each day at a time. Don't make long-term resolutions. Just say, today I will not be angry. In spite of whatever happens, today is the day I will remain calm, quiet, peaceful. So that's how we can start. Take a day at a time. And in the morning, we can take a resolve that today is the day when I'm not going to get angry in spite of anything that happens to me. Pass our day with utmost awareness. What are the situations? What makes me angry? In the evening, try to analyze whether we have become angry, and daily introspection, whether we have become successful or failed. And gradually, we will have a slow and steady progress. Another day comes, another again start the same way. So this is how we can gradually progress and come out of anger. But occasionally, we may need to do a kind of a drama for anger. But there is a difference between becoming angry and being in this kind of anger drama. As parents, for the welfare of our child, we may have to become angry sometimes if the child is doing too undue insistence or is not into the right habit to teach in the right values. As a teacher, for the welfare of our student, we may have to become angry sometimes at a student who is not doing the right thing that they need to do. And as a good friend for another friend, we may need to get angry for the welfare or for the benefit of for the other friend. But this anger drama, which we have termed it as, is something that is under my control. And I am not under the control of the anger. So that is the difference. Normally, when we become angry, we lose our control. But here, I am under the control of my anger. And that's why this anger is momentary, is not long lasting. And here, I'm not going to speak or do something that is completely irrational, because I am still in control of the anger. And next moment, I have a complete peace of mind. So next moment, I'm completely a changed person. It is not that it will keep happening again. And that's what Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells us. One who controls the anger and the desire is the person who is Sasukhi Naraha, that really happy person. And what are those permanent solutions? Permanent solution is only the right understanding of the divinity that Shri Krishna talks about. Every human is conditioned by our own habits, and that's why we should not be very insistent that the other person should not become angry. If the other person is controlled by his or her own three gunas, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna and Sattva Guna, that is how we are conditioned by our own habits. So that's why we can only change ourselves. We cannot change the other person. We should not give undue importance to this world and its situations and circumstances and the events that happen day in and out for us. We shouldn't give too much of importance, because that's what Vedanta ultimately says, that Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. If this is not the right thing, then we should not be giving too much of importance to it. We should see it as a drama happening, unfolding, everybody doing their own roles and responsibilities, like actors acting in a movie. That is how we can give or live in this world. It is not easy to live like this in this world, of course, but at the same time, we should not get too upset about the ups and downs in life. We should give utmost importance to our own peace of mind rather than what is happening outside. We should try to see whether I am peaceful or not, because I cannot control what is happening outside. I can control my peace of mind. Why can I can't leave the anger? One day I'll have to leave everything. That's why I should start practicing leaving these vices like angers and other things. Entire world is like a play, it's like an illusion of Maya, and every individual is a puppet in the hands of the Lord. This is what Shri Krishna tells us, Yantra Rudhani Mayaya Riddeshe Arjuna Tishtati, that I'm sitting inside like I'm there as an Antaryami, and I'm making people go round and round in in merry-go-round until Jitti Chabi Bhari Ramne Itna Chale Khilona. Similarly, we go round and round in the hands of the puppet, in the hands of the Lord as a puppet, and that's what is the real understanding, that we shouldn't get too much of attachment or anger. We are all one. We should try to see the oneness behind all the differences that we see, and that's why we should learn to forgive others rather than trying to take a revenge or trying to show somebody that one is different or superior to the other. So all this is something that we need to be careful. In the 5th Adhyaya, Shri Krishna tells us that from all around, the person who is devoid of desires and anger, Kama Krodha Vyuktanam, who is Yatinama, who tries to put a lot of effort to control this with awareness, and whose mind is naturally under equipoise and the balance, and the person who knows his own real self is the person who is the Sayukta Naraha, is a real equipoise person. So Shanti or peace of mind is like an antithesis to anger. Angry and peace of mind cannot stay together. When peace is there, anger is not there. When anger is there, peace is not there. And if peace is our original state, our real calm state of our mind, then obviously we shouldn't get angry. And whenever we get angry, it is important. We all want to get back to our peace of mind. We want and we should calm. We tell people that don't make me angry. I want peace. That's what we want. And that's why it shows that it is our original state of our mind. So when the angry mind is restless, we all yearn for the peace, and all this Devi Sampatti is also to attain to get the peace of mind. All these moral values, all these Asuri Sampatti or vices we need to leave because we want to become peaceful, and peace is our own asset which cannot be purchased from outside, and it can only come with the understanding, the resolve that I want to be peaceful and it is an important priority for me. And that's why we should take all the decisions in our life only after a due diligence, so that our peace of mind is not disturbed. And we should think of all the causes of restlessness, fears, all those things that make us, it disturbs our peace of mind. And this is how we can attain the real peace of mind. The 16th Adhyaya, again, Bhagavan says in the Devi Sampatti, he talks about how akrodha, absence of anger, is one of the Devi Sampatti. We should all try to get out of the anger. Ahimsa, Satyam, Akrodha, Tyaga, to give up with understanding, and peace of mind is also said as one of the jewels of our life. So these are the Devi Sampatti, very clearly described by Shri Krishna, that this is what we should attain, try to understand in life. Absence of criticizing attitude, Apaishunam. And finally, in the 16th Adhyaya, Shri Krishna says that these are the 3 doors to hell, as they destroy the purpose or the very purpose of our life: Kama, Krodha, and Lobha. These 3 are the ones that we need to leave, and it is only possible in this human life that we can leave all these 3 by awareness, by understanding, and by putting it into our life, applying this knowledge in our life. So to summarize, can we avoid being angry? Yes, Shri Krishna has shown us many ways of avoiding being angry. He has praised absence of anger. He has said that only if we don't become angry, we can be wise and we can have the real wisdom. And how we can be angry, he has also shown. Kamat krodho bijaya. It's important to understand that the root cause of anger is unfulfilled desire. And that's why we need to control those desires also to become less angry. We need to control our insistence that others need to change, others should change rather than I need to change. And this desire and anger are our real enemies. That is what Shri Krishna tells us. We should remember this all the time, that none of our enemies are outside. Nobody is our enemy. Only our own enemies are inside us. This anger, these desires. And that's why who controls our desires and anger is a truly happy person, Sasukhi Naraha. And these are the three doors to hell: the desires, anger, and greed. That's why we should leave all these three. Only then we can really become happy, and we all want to become happy. With this, we come to the end of this session. I pay my respects and to the Lord, through whose grace everything is possible. I pray to this Guru Shishya Parampara, through which this knowledge is preserved and transmitted for generations. I pay my respects to my Guruji, Pujya Guruma, with whose grace I am able to learn the scriptures and share this understanding with you. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwarah, Gurur Sakshat Parah Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.